What's up, guys? This is the Podcast Boys back with episode 148. As you can see, we're in the new studio. We got the lighting set up. We got the double camera set up. And yeah, we got some new mics. He's using the old one, but yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's honestly really nice to shoot in here. It's fully sound like acoustic paneled. So yeah, I'm looking forward to shooting.
Yeah,
here.
I was gonna get used to which camera do I look at?
Yeah, kind of got a double angle.
This one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna have to edit it back and forth between the cameras. It's what you do to get better. So yeah, I'm gonna start with my kind of just what I want to talk about this week. But anyways, we had a Cheyenne's also got more work now too, which I don't know if that's a good thing because he didn't really touch the camera before. So yeah, what I wanted to talk about was I watched this podcast called Juvie. Shout out Juvie. They're a really good podcast. And they're kind of like I don't know, that's someone who I look up to, especially for our podcast, like how we should organize our podcast. So yeah, one of the things they were talking about, which I found really interesting, was the top 3 things Fortune 100 company looks for. So that's I guess Microsoft, Apple, the big companies. And you would think they'd have a long, extensive list of, okay, I want this and this and this and an employee, and these are the type of people who I should have working for these corporations. But they actually only look for 3 things. So the first thing's experience. And that doesn't mean having a full degree, diploma. That just means experience in the craft. So let's say Cheyenne was applying to be a cameraman, and he could list that I worked for the Podcast Boys. That would be experience. So it's honestly even not even undergrad. It's just shadowing people and having a mentor is a form of experience, which I find really interesting because you would think they'd want a lot of educated people, but in fact, they actually look for experience. Another thing, which is quite small, but you don't really think about it that often, is being on time. So they said being on time was really important for them because first off, it upholds probably the brand's image, and you want the people to take pride in their work, and just being on time just shows that you're willing to work and you're ready to sacrifice your time. And then the last thing is problem solvers. So if you're a problem solver, you're very valuable to any team you become a part of, because if you're a problem solver, they're always going to need problem solvers. There's always going to be problems, and they're always going to need to be solved. So, yeah, those are, I guess, just the top 3 things they look for. So what do you think about that?
So I think that it makes sense. I'm a little surprised about the educational thing that you're talking about because, yeah, you can have experience, but it's experience with what specifically, right? So I think with education, you can get, I don't know, farther maybe? I don't know. It's tough, but I do think that experience is just as valuable as education, in my opinion.
In my opinion, I think it's about being skilled in your craft. So let's say they were hiring a video person. They'd want someone who's done thousands of hours in video work, not theoretical work or working for a school where you're writing papers on how to write the best, how to shoot the best video.
This person actually did it.
I think, personally, this is my belief, but I think someone who's actually put in the time, put in the effort, and has done the thing, that's how you get better at stuff. You could write thousands of papers on this is how I'd get the best angle, this is the best lighting, this is that. That's good up until a point, but until you've actually worked with the cameras, until you've actually been there, getting low, getting the shots right.
And this can be with anything. Yes, anything. I can hop on Madden and have the best football team and have the best plays and the best coaching, the best tactics, but it's whether or not I actually implement that into the game or not.
Yeah, that's true, for sure. And, of course, I think experience is useful, but also I think you need both sides. Of course, if you have just thousands of hours of experience, but you don't know maybe how the light can affect the shot, or you don't know if the tripod is tilted this way, it gives you a different shot. If you don't know those
real problems,
tiny aspects, then how are you going to get any better, right? Because you could shoot 1,000 hours of footage, but you're not getting better. So I think it's that constant improvement that's very valuable to them, and I think that's what they're looking for, more so than just sheer experience, right? There's a study done, I found this really interesting. There's a study done where it was the same thing. They had a photography class, and for the final paper, they had one group, they just sectioned into 2 groups. So one half of the class shot 10 final like you need 10 photos total, and so they only shot 10 photos, and they had to submit every single one of those, opposed to the other group, which can take as many photos as they want. I think they have to take up to like 1,000 photos, and they picked the best 10. And now the results of these were that the people who actually got the 1,000 photos, they ended up learning way more about photography because they had practice. They were in practice. They were putting what they learned into practice, and they ended up getting the best results because they, after months of experience, they ended up improving their photography. They'd get better angles. They'd get the lighting correct. And they actually improved, opposed to the person who spent months and months and months of researching and not putting much into practice. They were less successful. So I thought that was really interesting. And I think that touches on that point where experience is key. One other thing that I kind of want to talk about is habits and like forming habits. Because to be honest, I think we've been pretty good recently. I mean, we both go to the gym now, which is nice. And I'm, disciplined, trying to improve ourselves. But one thing I think that's not talked about often, which should be, is like bad habits. Because I think everyone has them. Habits just form naturally, right? And so I think one of my personal bad habits is I'm pretty late most of the time. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if that's from the sense of just not really caring where I'm supposed to be, or just having too much like self-pride in myself that I think, you know what, the world revolves around me. Like sometimes I'm just like, I don't really give a fuck, right? Like if I'm going to school and I'm 5 minutes late, is the 5 minutes really going to affect me? But then again, it could, right? Maybe the principal has to talk to me or some shit right before class.
You don't know some outcomes.
Exactly. And I think that it's important to like, I don't know, you have to acknowledge your bad habits if you actually want to improve, right? If you don't acknowledge where you're like going wrong, how are you going to get any better?
Yep, that's facts.
What are your bad habits, do you think?
I think, I don't know if this is like a habit. I guess you could say it's a habit. I focus, I think the biggest problem that I have with myself is that I hold on to the past too much more than I should. Whether that's memories, whether that's things I used to do, whether that's things that I still want to do. You can't change the past. So I think if I have a better mindset of moving on to the future and tackling that instead of focusing on the past, that could really help me as an individual.
Yeah, I think I see that a lot in you too, because I remember you'll bring up in conversation, you'll just bring up stuff that happened years and years and years ago. And I've just like completely forgot about that. So on the other end of the spectrum, you're very, I think, reflective and you focus on your past a lot. Whereas I just kind of like, what's forward, what's ahead, how are we going to keep moving forward? And that's interesting as well when we're working together for the podcast, because you see like, I'm really
two sides of it.
Yeah, I'm really like, okay, let's keep going. Let's do this. And you're like, okay, look at what we did here. Like, how can we get better here? And so I think it's honestly nice having people with two different perspectives and sort of like two different mindsets, because when you come together, then you get like the perfect balance. Obviously, you want to have someone, if you're working with, no matter what it is, it could be a podcast, it could be work, it could be a business plan, or you're working in a business. But I think you want to have someone that complements your energy. And so like Colin and me, we're pretty similar, but also pretty different. Like I mentioned, he's very reflective. I'm very like ambitious. And together we kind of get that good mix. But you want to like set up your environment for success, right? You don't want to have someone that's just like too much on your end, or like you add something and they take that away, right? So you kind of got to play to your strengths.
Yeah, you do. And you got to put both your strengths in one sitting.
100%.
Combine them.
Yeah, I think that's how you get better as well. Like if you combine those two segments together, that's how you'll achieve growth. One thing we were talking about before the podcast, I was talking about this with Cheyenne, but I was really curious about this, was confidence. And like, do you think you can fake confidence?
I think you can absolutely fake confidence. I think that you can tell yourself that I am confident and I am going to achieve great things, but deep down in your heart, you do not think that you can do all those things you're saying. You have to truly believe deep down that you are confident for you to actually achieve what you do want to achieve when it comes to confidence.
I think because you're not fully, like, you don't believe it, maybe you're putting on this persona that, yes, I'm confident. Yes, I exude confidence.
You can tell yourself that, but like I said.
But are you really confident? So that's kind of my question, is like, the fake it till you make it mentality, I think, is very big. Like a lot of people just say, yeah, fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it. But it's honestly hard to do that, because if you don't believe in yourself and you have self-doubt, how are you going to fake it? You know what I mean? Like, I think I've had experiences in my life where it's worked before. Like, I remember one time I think I was in grade 7. I was trying out for a soccer team, and for the whole week I just tried to be as confident as I could. At the same time, I was like, there is stuff I can improve on. And I think that's the difference between like being confident and being cocky. Because if you're confident, you still acknowledge, yes, there's areas I need growth. Yes, I need areas to do this. However, you also do have like a self, I guess, acknowledgement of your strength as well. So I think confidence is like the perfect balance between like just knowing yourself and knowing where you can improve. And I think that's also a really
100%.
important aspect.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. Because so many people will just say, yeah, I'm so confident. I'm 100% confident. But then they're egotistical, yes, and they're narcissistic. Everything revolves around me. I've
seen
the best,
many of my peers do that with tests.
Yeah.
In school.
I know that's one thing I hate too, is like when you finish a test and like maybe you had a good test, maybe you had a bad test, but the people that will come up to you and they'll show you your test result. Oh, I got perfect marks. Oh, what'd you get? And it's just kind of like, I don't know, man. Like, keep it to yourself.
Sometimes, but sometimes it's cool to share.
I think, yeah, and I think also, like, the duality of it, yeah, sometimes it's good to share because then you also see, hey, man, maybe I do need to improve. Like, I think one of the hardest parts is, like, motivating yourself. Some people are very, like, driven and ambitious, and other people just aren't motivated. But sometimes it takes getting a bad test result to, okay, I need to step up my game. I need to do better in this subject. I need to improve here. We had a business meeting this week.
Yeah, we did. We went to the coffee shop.
Yeah, do you want to explain what happened there?
We went to the coffee shop, and we had some drinks, and we discussed the future of the podcast a little bit. Nothing too major, but it was a lot of small things that do create a bigger, better podcast. And we spent a good, like, hour and a half there, I want to say.
Yeah.
Maybe around an hour. And, yeah, I mean, this is one of them, right? We're in the studio now instead of the garage. I wonder what our schedule will be like. Only time will tell. And then we will get into the rhythm of this. I mean, we always have the garage to rebound to, so you might see us there in the future. Honestly, I don't know. And I think that is a good rebound. The garage really, I think, was a big step up. One of our biggest step ups in this a journey of podcasting was having that garage. So shout out garage and everything that came with that. I remember first going in there for the first time, and I'm like, damn, this is actually happening. So we're in the studio. Who knows? Maybe this is like level 3, right? Online, garage, studio. Who knows what level 4 is, bro? Mega mansion.
Who knows?
I don't know. Or maybe we have our own studio. I don't know, because like we rent this out. So yeah, I'm excited. I really am. And hopefully we just keep going up.
Yeah, I think it's important to keep improving. Like, you can be happy with where you are, but I think if you don't have that drive and ambition to just keep going forward, like when we were online, we thought, being online is not that bad, but what would be even better? Okay, being in the garage would be better. Okay, how are we going to get even better than that? And so now we come to the studio. Mm-hmm. And so, like, even the business meeting, we're talking about, okay, how are we going to get a little bit better each episode?
When's Mega Mansion coming?
I don't know. That could be in 5 episodes down the line. It could be in 100, man. So we never know. But I think consistency is key.
I know it won't be in the next 5 episodes.
But no, you don't, man. It could, it could very well.
We could win the lottery.
Exactly, yeah. So
things could change.
That's true. So I think, it's important to, like, just keep a growth mindset. Like, shoot for the stars, land on the moon, So just dream big, and even if you don't get there, you'll get closer to where you want. Alex Eubank, he said this really well. He's like, if you don't go to the gym and think you're going to be the biggest guy in there, then you're not going to grow at all. But it's just like that mindset you carry, I think mindset is really important too. Like, if you have a bad mindset.
Huge.
I mean,
my motivation, like, if I'm trying to bust out that last rep, you're going gorilla mode, right? So you're screaming at the top of your lungs. But it depends on the person, right? Because
yeah. No, yeah, I think it's important to just, like, you gotta, I don't know, I get to, like, a really dark place when I work out. Honestly, if I'm on that last rep or on the last set, like, I'm just thinking about all the bad shit that's happening. I'm doing my fucking hammer curls, bro. And, like, it sucks. Like, it really fucking sucks. Like, your arm's shaking. You don't want to go, and you just have to keep going.
Dude, I think it's so funny watching people's, like, face at the gym when they're on the last rep. Yeah. I try to, like...
Not laugh?
I try to not laugh, and I try to, when I'm on the last rep, not to look like an idiot. I try to keep a straight face. But that's not, like, what I'm focused on.
Yeah.
But that's just how I am. Like, I'm not, like, I've seen people, like, and then I'm just there, like.
Yeah. to be honest, that's kind of me, dude. Like, the gym in my building is empty, right? I'm probably like one of the only people in there. There's like I see a couple guys and like whatever. Maybe they're doing like treadmill. They're on the treadmill, right? They're walking or whatever. And then there's me in the corner, like, or like I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'm kind of the guy who's like
between us
grunting
and
a little bit, like,
between
you know?
us and the camera. Like, have you gone gorilla mode?
I have gone gorilla mode. I actually have. I have. Especially, I'm the only one in there. It's like late at night. I'm in the dark, deep place, and I'm just like, like I'm fucking pushing up. I'm listening to like X and shit. I'm listening to like some crazy shit, bro. But yeah, I think it's good to like you put yourself in that dark place, and at the end you come out like different. You know?
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, you're like and then you like this is crazy. Every time I walk into the gym, I start like my posture's better. Like I'm walking taller. I'm like like. You kind of feel good, you know?
Especially with the gym mirrors, bro. I don't know how, but you just feel so strong. Like
It's because of the
big,
pump.
bro.
It's 'cause you get
Yeah,
the pump.
no. Even before the like when you're changing and you see yourself, you're like, fucking yeah, bro. I can lift that shit today.
Mind
like,
is a
my chest
huge
up.
thing. Like a lot of you guys might not know. You have a good mind. You can like, if I look at myself in the mirror for a long time saying, you look like an idiot, you look like an idiot, I will look like an idiot. If I look at myself say, you look so smart, I will look like a very intelligent person. It doesn't even have to be realistic. I could say, I look like a pirate, and I over and over again, and I will look like a fucking pirate. Some things are kind of iffy. Like, one of my coaches said, like, in the rain, if we're playing, like, football or even soccer, like, cold is a mindset, which factually it can be, because you can say to yourself, I'm not cold, let's get through this. But temperature is not a mindset. So that's like 50-50. I mean, you can definitely keep yourself cooler, but you're not going to stop yourself from being cold.
I think also with mindset, it's not that you'll necessarily become what that is, but you'll embody what that person is. So let's say I'm a pirate. Maybe you'll embody that pirate mentality. You know what I'm saying? So you're not necessarily going to become a pirate. You're not going to go loot a bunch of boats out in the water.
They go to like Cambodia or something.
Yeah. But you will like, I don't know, embody pirateness, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think the importance of like mental health and just mindset is super important. And I think
wouldn't that also be fake it till you make it type of thing?
Not quite, because if it's not faking it if you truly believe that you are a pirate.
That's true. But if you reiterate,
are you though in what you believe doesn't change reality? So in a sense, you're lying to yourself about something you might not be to become what you are. So
but to you, it's not lying. To you, you truly believe you're a pirate.
We're talking in the sense of reality.
Yeah, in reality, you can think you are a pirate. That's how much you can control your mind. Like, factually, yeah, sure, you're not an actual pirate. But fake it till you make it. It's kind of like, in that regard, I think you can, like, match those up. But it's also different in a way. You know what I mean?
A really good example of this, I'm reading How to Win Friends and Influence People right now. And one of the examples they use...
Bro's been lonely.
I know, bro. But it's just like, don't condemn others. And like a really good example is they surveyed... This book's from the 1950s. It's really old. But they basically they surveyed, I guess, or like they questioned, interrogated, you could say, all these like criminals. And they just saw like what their behavior patterns were and how they perceived their crimes. And a lot of them thought they were doing good. They thought they were doing good by killing these people. Okay, these people are unjust. This is morally corrupt. I'm doing a good thing by getting rid of these people. And so the point of the book was never condemn someone because they'll think there's something wrong with you. You know what I mean? So if I say, Johnny, why did you kill that guy? He's like, well, he's a bad guy. And so it's like, do you think a bad guy is good? And that like they'll flip it on you.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's one of the laws from the book. But it's honestly, it's pretty interesting. And a lot of people, like if you start shitting on other people, then they'll look at you. Why are you so great? Why are you so powerful? Why should I listen to you, right? If you're still messing up here and there, right? So, I mean, I think that's pretty interesting. Is you can really just like take over your mind and like believe what you want to believe. Another thing I want to talk about too. This is mentioned on Juvie too. I was listening to it before, so I got a lot of ideas from them. But they're saying, shout out, bro. They're talking about like FOMO. And they're talking about sort of like sheep mentality. I mean, you talked about this before.
Fucking crosswalk bullshit.
But it was really interesting. It's like, I feel like the culture right now is leaning a lot towards like self-improvement and going to the gym and reading and meditating and doing this. And I think that's like really positive. Like, I don't think there's ever been a time in history where it's been that, like, I don't know, focused on self-improvement, especially in, like, technology. Like, it's always been, okay, like, a couple years ago, it was, like, mukbangs was the big thing. Just eating yourself until you're just,
2018.
like, fucking, you feel horrible and you feel, like, fat and just, like, sloth, man. But now,
what's
like,
his name? Nico Avocado.
that perfect example.
Shout out.
And now people are, like, going to the gym, and that's what's getting posted on social media. I think that's really positive. And the reverse of that is, like, you see, like, the older generation. Like, I'll tell my dad all this. Like, we have conversations all the time. And I'll tell him, like, what I'm doing and, like, where I'm trying to go. And he's like, man, he's like, that's crazy. Like, he's proud of me, but he's also like, that's just so different from when I was a kid. Like, that was just not the mentality. It was like, no one was really, like, reading books.
It's gonna be the same with us.
How to go. Yeah, exactly. And so I think right now we're just in a really good spot with, I think, technology and, like, how people are using it, because now people are promoting good habits. And again, with that sheep mentality, I think as a teenager too, no one's really got that, like, set identity yet. Everyone's so malleable, and, like, everyone still kind of just wants to fit in. I mean, even
there's a form of it, but it's not truly what it can be.
Yeah.
For an
and
individual.
I think since we're getting to our last years of high school, people are getting a little more, they're starting to set their identity a little bit. But I think we're still quite malleable. Yeah, so the point that I was getting at is that everyone's still so malleable as a teenager. So, like, whatever the big social trend, whatever the big trend is on TikTok or Instagram, or, like, even amongst your peers, like, people will just, like, buy into it. Like, even with, like, clothes and, like, fashion, it's a sense. Even with, like, the culture of marks, and, like, someone does better, like, you want to try to improve, you want to get better. A funny example is, like, my teacher in physics. I think I talked about this, like, a couple months ago, but we had parent-teacher interviews.
Yeah, you did.
And he's like, Justin, do you get anxious or mad? Yeah, when your peers are getting better marks than you. I was like, what the hell kind of question is that, man? Like, of course I get self-conscious. I'm trying to do better, right? Like, I'm just, like, competitive by nature. I think that's just sports as well. And it's like, no shit, I'm trying to do the best I can. And, like, obviously I don't get mad. I'm happy for my friends that do well, and I want them to do, like, well, and I want them to succeed. But also, I want to do well too, I don't want to be the last guy in the pack. And I think that sort of mentality is, like, it can be negative and it can be positive. Like, the negatives could be people drinking, smoking, vaping, whatever, right? Then it can be positive. Like, now people are going to the gym, people are reading, this and that. So I think right now we're in a really good place with how that's panning out. But
I just realized, like, it made me think, interesting you talk about how your teacher said that in the University of Dublin, when you graduate from the University of Dublin, when they're doing the ceremony, when you're lining up, they go from best grades to worst grade. So buddy at the back that got the worst grade is the last one to throw up his cap, or no, shake the guy's hand and get the certificate. And then the guy with the best grades in the year will go first. And people were saying, well, that's really bad, because it's like, it's not good for the people that got bad grades. But then they argue, like, well, you got to understand, it's the University of Dublin. It's a very prestigious school. So anybody that goes to the University of Dublin is a very smart individual. So I don't know. That kind of is like, to me, it's like yes and no kind of situation. I think that I just don't see the value in them doing that. Like, what is the point? What are they trying to prove? Like, you know what I mean? Competition, sure, but are you really going to be eyeing on your buddy over there, like, or Jimbo in the very back because they have a better score? Like, hey, I got to make sure that everybody in here has a worse mark. Like, no one's going to be doing that. Like, be realistic here. So that's kind of weird to me.
I think that the reason they do that is because everyone who's gotten to that school is capable, really. But it's just who's putting in the hard work, who's putting in the most effort. And if you're not putting the hard work, I'm sorry, that's just how life goes. You're going to go at the back of the line. But the people at the front, you can tell that they worked their ass to be there, man. Like, the people who are sitting in the back, they probably, wrote a couple notes, fucking jerked off or some shit, and then they got shitty grades, right? Like, no fucking
Sounds
clue.
like Cheyenne.
But the guys in the top are fucking building great habits. They're studying hard. And, like, I was telling my dad about this week, but one thing that I really hate is when people say, oh, that guy's talented, that's why he's done so well. Or it's just talent. It's pure talent.
It's not.
It's not fucking talent, dude. The reason, yes, they could be genetically gifted. They could have like some crazy thing where their brain is.
They could be
fucking
Samoan
bigger.
and huge.
Or yeah, they could be like 6'3" and Samoan or some shit, you know. But without that hard work, how would they know that they're talented? There, if they didn't put in the hard work, they wouldn't be as good as they are. Maybe they have this special talent that they were born with, but that's such a small majority of the people that actually succeed. So it's really just the hard work that you put in. It's the time and effort and energy that you're actually putting in to get better. And so that's why I hate when people say, "Oh, it's just talent. It's just talent." No, they actually put in the hard work, and maybe you should too.
SFU football has announced that they are done with their football program at SFU. They've been doing this for over 50 years now, and the university in Burnaby has competed in a lot of high-stake games, and they're the only Canadian team to be in the NCAA. Now, a lot of this news is bad for a lot of people because people are a part of that football program. People have been a part of that football program, and it's been a program that has been really successful for many years and could have been for many more years to come. So the problem that is faced here today is the fact that the biggest thing is kids with scholarships. I know people that have been wanting to go to SFU for football, and I've played with people that have gotten offers to go to SFU. What happens to their scholarship? Probably gone. So for those people that were so stoked about going to SFU to play football and continue their football career, and that's a great stepping stone to get into professional level, unfortunately, it could be their career done in football unless they get another offer, which that window has kind of closed, if not is closing down right now in April. So my question is, what should be happening to those kids? And is it fair? Is it just? I'm not exactly sure as to why the football program has shut down. And I think it's sad overall. I think SFU had a great football program. Many people that I know went to SFU to play football, and they have been really successful. So it's sad to see it go. Now it's just fucking UBC. And what if you don't want to go to UBC? Yeah. So that sucks. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so my question is, like, what happens to the kids that got scholarships? Do they still go to the school? Can they still transfer? Is there a transfer period?
I don't think that they will be able to go anymore.
So basically
from the
their
scholarship.
whole...
I'm guessing
biggest
so.
time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's
Could be
brutal.
wrong, but
Do you know why that the
I
program was...
don't remember. I think they talked about something about coaching. I could pull it up. So I've pulled up the article here from the CBC News talking about why the program is ending. So they have decided to write the first sentence as it's 4th downs and out for Simon Fraser University's football program. Sad but true. The ongoing uncertainty creates an unacceptable experience for students. The university has carefully considered all available options, and as a leadership team, we concluded that football is no longer a feasible sport for SFU. This is what the president said of SFU. One of the reasons for the university's move, so they went to the Canadian institution is the only one to play in an American-based national collegiate athletic association, moving there from the Canadian-based U Sports in 2010. One of the reasons for the university's move for the NCAA was the ability to offer more scholarships for athletes, and Johnson said the school would honor those commitments for those who chose to remain at SFU and meet liability requirements. They go on to say there's a long stored history and it's automatically a draw for players. They're interested in NCAA experience or interested in coming to Canada and still playing in the NCAA. This was a good option for them. While SFU had other success in several sports in the years since, they had struggled to be competitive in football, finishing with an overall record of 18 wins and 99 losses in the NCAA. Parkhouse said there was a team meeting Tuesday morning, and players raised concerns about what this meant for the athletic and academic careers, because the NCAA has decided. In a statement, the SFU president Joy Johnston said that there's a decision was prompted by the Lone Star Conference not inviting them to continue playing in their conference for the 2024 season. So that sucks. And then, like I said, they talked on Tuesday morning, talked about options. One of the reasons why they made the decision now is to create opportunities for those players who wish to continue to play football to explore options at other schools while they can still enter into the transfer window. SFU will continue to honor scholarships for the next year for those who choose to stay at the school. So that kind of answers our question. Parkhouse said it's unlikely that the team will ever return to the NCAA, the Province Canadian Football League team. The BC Lions says it's disappointed the program will be discontinued. Today's news impacts several dedicated individuals in participation: the student athletes, coaches, staff, countless volunteers, parents, and, of course, alumni, who tirelessly dedicated themselves to the SFU program, the team said in a statement. The BC Lions will continue to do everything we can to support amateur football at all levels in this province. That's great to hear from the BC Lions. It's a very nice statement for them to say. Ultimately, I think it's sad, but that was it.
Yeah, I think it's just unfortunate that so many people who had that dream of going to play professional football, and SFU was kind of their bridge there, and that was how they were going to do it. It's just unfortunate that just they can't anymore, you know. And I feel sympathetic for the people that actually commit themselves to that program as well, for it to just go
to shit.
Yeah. So yeah, this is really unfortunate, and yeah, I don't really know what to say. I mean, they can't really do anything about it. So
yeah.
All right, on to our last sort of segment here. I want to get your thoughts on this because I haven't really thought about this, but I was thinking, like, what are the top 5 things that teenage boys should do? Because we have a large teenage audience, a lot of them being teenage
Majority.
guys. So if you had any advice to them, even yourself, like what are the top 5 things they should do right now? How can they take action? How can they become better? What would you recommend? Whether that be physical, mental,
to be a better person?
Yeah.
Have fun. Don't be so stuck up with your life, focusing on school, work, whatever else it may be. Make sure to have fun, but don't be too stupid. All right, it's good to be stupid, right? I am stupid when it comes to having fun. Ding dong ditch a few houses, stuff like that. But don't do anything too stupid to yourself or to others. There's that. And then that kind of goes to the second one that I'm about to say. Know your limits, okay? Do not push yourself over things that do not have to be pushed for. Understand your limits and how you can improve them if you do want to. Number 3, I would say do well in school, because high school is a important stepping stone, I think, just for life in general. So be good at school. I'm not saying get the best grades out there. I'm not saying go try hard and spend all your time, doing school. That goes back to my first point. Have fun. But try to do well. The 4th, I would say, is have a good connection of friends. If you have the right people surrounding you, you can do wonders, right? Many minds are better than one. We talked about how your mind can be so powerful. Imagine all your friends combined, and you can make the best memories of your life with friends. And if you have a good circle and good people that you hang around, I think that could be really good. So good connections. And the last one that I'm going to say is probably to explore the world, not in terms of geography, but in terms of just life in general. Research different things. Oh, this group of people think this. This group of people do that. I'm not saying segregate yourself, but I'm saying understand the world in a broader aspect of things, not just your life and your community. Those are my 5, and I'm actually pretty proud of myself. I just thought of that on the spot, and I think that was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna start with like a more superficial, like, things you can do right now, which will make you a better person in like time to come, right? Going forward. So the first one I would say is just going to the gym, right? Getting yourself in shape physically, as well as, like, I think it's really good mentally. Like, for me personally, if I have like a shit day and I go to the gym and I just get all that aggression out, my mind is like clear to think. I'm in a good state, and I think I can approach everything with a better head, right? And I think that's very important. Like we talked about mentality already. It's very powerful. So I think that's my first one. The second one I would say is get your hygiene in check. I would say I'd recommend your skincare first off. Haircut, get a good haircut, Obviously it makes you confident, and also just makes you feel good, right? You start walking taller, like we said. Get better posture. And then with the hygiene, I guess just like brush your teeth, floss, wear deodorant, cologne if you want. Shower every day, all right? I don't want to see
If
any of
you
you
want.
fuckers, taking a shower every 5 days, every 2 days, bro. Just shower every day. Shower in the morning, shower at night if you want to.
I should have said eat Subway. Damn it.
Yeah, dude, but yeah, please shower, I swear. So yeah, hygiene, go to the gym. One thing that's helped me a lot, I would say, I'd recommend to all you out there, is to read books. Okay, I know it sounds lame, calling, Josh and me for it all the time.
I'm not a big reader.
But you got to see the value in books, right? All these people that have done it before you, they literally have given you all this fucking life knowledge in the form of a book, and you just disregard the whole thing, bro. At least read a little bit. I know I'm not the biggest reader ever, and I struggle with it too, and I'm being honest about that, right? I don't read every day, but I'm trying, Read all it is. It could be a couple pages each day, but try to read because you will learn a lot of things if you do. So what do we got? We got gym, hygiene, reading, discipline, and I think the last one would be 100% ownership. So I want to start on the ownership. So I think regardless of what happens in your life, you have to take full accountability and ownership for what happens. For me, a good example, okay, I know this sounds stupid, but I broke my wrist. That's my fault. That's no one else's fault, because if you can't take the blame for the things that happen in your life, you don't have control over shit. And if you don't have control over shit, you can't change. So when I broke my wrist, I fell skateboarding, and that's my fault because I put myself in that situation where I'm on the rail on my skateboard and I fell, right? And that's my fault. If, let's say, I said, oh, well, the rail was waxy and my trucks didn't lock in and it was just a fluke accident, then I can't take ownership for it. And then it's just all in the world's hands, right? If you just let everyone push you around and you take ownership for nothing, you'll never be able to improve on that. And so that's why I think it's super important. Everything is your fault. You know what I mean? So just take that mindset with you if that's one thing you take. Yeah, the last one, I'd say discipline. No matter what, just try to keep that discipline with you. You could do, and it connects to all of these. If you don't have discipline in any of these, you'll never actually do these. It's great to talk about them. It's great to actually, do them once or twice. But if you're not disciplined and you don't just have a schedule, okay, I'm going to do it every single day or close to every single day as I can, that's when you see improvement. Yes, go ahead.
Build consistency out of discipline.
If you guys didn't hear that, he said, build consistency out of discipline.
Yeah.
So, exactly. We'll put it up here next episode. But yeah, I think being disciplined, first off, you have control and you're disciplined. You get to do what you want. And although it may suck, it sucks going to the gym. To be honest, I like going to the gym, but it also sucks, right? You don't want to do that last rep. You don't want to do the last set. You don't want to keep going even when you don't want to. Your muscles are sore. You're tired. You feel lightheaded and shit. But you just got to keep going. And that's one message that I want everyone to take if they take one thing from this episode. The last one, I think this is kind of a bonus one. I want to hear what you think about this. Is also just respect everyone. I mean, there's all these guys in the self-help space who are super cocky and I'd say almost arrogant. And I kind of want to touch on this. Andrew Tate, although I do like him, and we talked about this in the episode with Simon, I think mutual respect for everyone, regardless of who they are, even if they're not improving like you and they're not doing the same things you are, you should still have respect and dignity for that person because they're a living person on this planet, man. You just got to show respect to everyone regardless what it is. I think that's really important to not get so narcissistic and into yourself.
What if they do some fucked up shit to you?
If they do some fucked up shit for you, who cares, man? Obviously that fucking sucks if they do. Ignore it. Honestly, just try not to associate yourself with that person. Cut them off. Stay away from them, obviously. But just I think the best way is just if you respect yourself enough, you won't put yourself in that situation where that will happen. And I know sometimes that can happen, fluke accident, whatever. But we talked about 100% responsibility. No matter what, you were in that situation, how can you get out of there? How can you distance yourself from that person? So I think that's what I would say to that. But yeah, just respect is really important as well. So yeah, respect for your teachers, your parents, your friends. And yeah. All right, is anything else you want to add?
If the quality of this episode has been different or bad in any way, we're here for the first time producing an episode.
Yeah.
Just like what I said when we went into the garage for the first time, and it did take us a few episodes to get good at production and quality of things. So If it's not that good, that's why.
Yeah. And
Let
yeah,
us know in the comments.
exactly. And if you have anything we can improve on, if the lighting is like too bright or the mics are too far away from our mouths, yeah, again, let us know so we can improve that for next time. So that has been episode 148. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.